See, in this life, nothing is guaranteed. We win some, we lose some, and if I fall 1,000 times, I'll make sure I stand back up 1,001 times.
Today on Empowered Brotherhood, let's talk about something that each of us experiences at some point in our lives, but we don't always talk about openly.
Life has a way of knocking us down when we least expect it. Whether it's losing a job, facing the end of a relationship, the death of someone we love, or an unexpected failure, we all encounter situations that challenge us in ways we never imagined. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like the world is closing in around us. It's easy to feel helpless, to wonder if we'll ever get back up or if we'll ever be able to move forward. But what if I told you those losses, painful as they are, don't have to define you? What if I told you that how you handle these moments could be the very thing that propels you to your next breakthrough?
You see, loss and setbacks are inevitable, but how we respond to them is what truly matters. And overcoming them is not about avoiding the pain, it's about facing it, learning from it, and rising above it with a stronger sense of self. Briefly, I'm going to take us through some effective steps we need to take in dealing with whatever L we have been handed so as to get back up stronger and better. First things first, when you experience a loss or setback, don't deny the pain. It's okay to feel hurt, angry, frustrated, or confused. Too often, we try to push those emotions down or distract ourselves, thinking we'll move on faster, but here's the truth. You can't heal what you don't allow yourself to feel. Take the example of Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes in history. She's had her fair share of losses, whether it's an unexpected defeat on the court or the personal struggles of balancing her career and family life. After a particularly tough loss in 2018, Serena was asked about how she deals with setbacks, and she shared something incredibly powerful. I allow myself to feel the pain, but then I move forward. Serena's approach is a reminder that it's okay to be upset, it's okay to grieve, it's okay to take a moment to just be with your feelings, but don't stay there. Acknowledge the pain and give yourself permission to feel, but don't let it consume you. The next step is to reframe the setback. This is crucial. A setback is not a failure, it's an opportunity to learn and grow. When you face a loss, it's easy to feel like it's the end of the road, that everything is falling apart, but often it's not the end. It's the beginning of something new. Think about Steve Jobs, who was fired from the company he founded, Apple. Imagine that moment, being dismissed from the company that you put your heart and soul into. It was a monumental setback. But instead of letting that define him, Jobs reframed the experience. He later said, the heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. That moment of loss became one of the greatest opportunities of his life. It pushed him to start new ventures, to innovate, and ultimately to return to Apple and lead it to greater heights.
In your own life, when facing a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What opportunities does this create for me? By reframing the loss as a lesson or an opportunity for growth, you shift from a mindset of defeat to one of resilience and possibility.
Take responsibility, but don't blame yourself. While it's important to reflect and learn from the situation, it's equally important not to blame yourself excessively. Yes, accountability is essential, but be kind to yourself. We often beat ourselves up after a setback, thinking we did something wrong, or worse, that we're not good enough. Take Walt Disney, for example. He was fired from a job at a newspaper early in his career for lacking imagination and good ideas. Can you imagine that? The person who would go on to create Disney World and revolutionize entertainment was told he wasn't creative enough. He could have let that failure define him, but instead, he learned from it, pushed forward, and created a legacy that has lasted for generations. The key here is that setbacks and losses don't define who you are as a person. You are not your mistakes, and you are not the setbacks you've encountered. They are moments in time, not your identity. Learn from them, but don't let them take away your self-worth. Take responsibility for what you can control, but do not let self-blame hold you back. When you're dealing with a setback, it's easy to get caught in the immediate frustration and disappointment. However, to overcome it, you need to remind yourself of the bigger picture. For instance, think of J.K. Rowling, who faced countless rejections from publishers before her Harry Potter books were finally accepted. It's hard to imagine now with the series being a global phenomenon, but at the time, those rejections felt like the end of the road. But Rowling didn't give up. She believed in her vision, in the story she was telling, and in her own ability to succeed. Every rejection was one step closer to the breakthrough she eventually had.
When you're facing a setback, zoom out and remember why you started in the first place. What's your why? Keeping your long-term vision alive helps you push through the short-term pain. The journey may not be linear, but if you stay focused on the bigger picture, the setbacks become stepping stones to your success.
Finally, you have to take action, even if it's just a small step. Movement is healing. When we get stuck in our heads, overwhelmed by our emotions, we freeze. But the most powerful thing you can do after a setback is get moving. It might feel hard at first, but the act of taking action shifts your focus from pain to progress. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for fighting against apartheid. When he was finally released, instead of focusing on the anger and resentment that could have consumed him, he chose to move forward with purpose. Even though the road ahead was still uncertain, his resilience led to him becoming the first Black president of South Africa and a global symbol of peace and reconciliation. Mandela's story is a reminder that no setback is permanent, and you have the power to keep moving forward, even after the most difficult of losses. So, in conclusion, when you face loss or a setback, remember this: acknowledge the pain. It's okay to feel. Reframe the setback. See it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Take responsibility, but don't blame yourself. Focus on the bigger picture. Remember your why and take action. Even small steps will keep you moving forward.
Losses and setbacks are part of life, but they don't have to define your story. You have the power to turn them into lessons, into fuel for growth, and into stepping stones for something even greater. Life will throw challenges your way, but your response to them is where your strength lies. Keep moving forward, brother.